Oh, that's a groove to start this Wednesday morning.
Camilla, come on.
Oh, so I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you, Mr. Nick Ham. And now let's get back down to business. It's back to school for primary and secondary school learners across South Africa today. So we certainly wish you all the best. And as we've been told, teachers play an integral part in our child's educational growth and success. Fancy that.
Yeah,
imagine that. Now, how beneficial can it be for parents to seek to know their child's educators? Obviously, you want your child to have a great relationship, but how important is it for you to connect with them? Can it benefit your child at all? Well, parenting coach and genius Laura Markovitz joins us in studio to share some insight into the subject. And of course, what makes you an expert is that you've got 2 kids going back to school today. So we wish them, I'm sure they watch everything that you do on TV. You better be watching.
Oh, absolutely,
So we're wishing you guys all the best.
Morning, Mom.
So yeah, how are you feeling with the kids going back to school?
Yeah, I mean, look, I'd like to be there to see them. They're not that interested in me being there to see them off. But I'm excited for them to be starting the year, going back. I'm not that excited about organising and extramurals and the logistics and all of that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
part of the parent job. You see what you need to get at. Listen, let's talk about the teachers, Laura. This is why you're here this morning to give some parents advice. Why should we seek to have a relationship with your child's teacher from the get-go? I mean, what are the benefits of approaching it that way?
Yeah, I mean, if we think about it, our kids are spending at least 6 hours of their day with this other adult in their life who's going to influence them, teach them different things. So it makes sense for us to be connecting with them just on a common sense level. And then the research also shows that where parents are involved with teachers, it can help with academic success, it can help with absenteeism, because obviously if you're showing that you are interested and you are taking part in your children's education, it has a knock-on effect for our kids. Okay. So yeah, absolutely, it's important for us to get involved. Obviously not too involved, which is striking.
Sounds like you're speaking to yourself a little bit there, like just... No. And after all, teachers are human as well. And just like in a workplace or any other kind of social dynamic, you've got to play the game. At the end of the day, you want them to enjoy spending time with your child. How do you build that relationship? If we don't want to be overbearing, what's the right balance to strike? How do we connect?
Yeah, so I think, there are opportunities during the year. So obviously, first day of school, introducing yourself. Hi, this is my kid. This is who I am.
This little envelope.
Yeah, this is like cash under the... No.
We're not advocating that at all. All right.
Disclaimer. So introducing yourself, using parent-teacher meetings during the year to chat. So those are sort of set structures. But what's really important is actually to make sure that you're not only using those structures, particularly if your child has some issues, whether it's academically, socially, psychologically. Teachers really appreciate having a context for a child. And if they know that there are difficulties going on, then they appreciate knowing that so that they can keep an extra eye and that you can work collaboratively together to try and help children get through the problems that they experience.
Is it worth taking it as far as saying this works with little Gary?
Yeah.
and this doesn't work? How far do you take that?
Yeah, absolutely. So I think it's taking into account that a teacher has a whole lot of kids in their class, and they cannot teach each and every child in an individual way. I mean, that would be great if they could, but they are human beings.
I think a lot of parents mis kind of interpret that as well as the fact that it's you are the teacher and you need to give special attention to my kid. Because it's only fair that parents feel that way. But we are going to be continuing this conversation a little bit later with you, Laura, because I also want to know is like, where do you draw the line as a parent to get too involved where the parent almost becomes the teacher and the know-it-all? We'll talk about that a little bit later on.
It's my feel-good breakfast show.
Very cool initiative, eh? Street Smart, go out there and support them as well.
1.2 million, that is amazing.
Absolutely incredible, well done. Now, back to our parenting talks. Earlier we spoke about the importance of parents building a relationship with their child's educators and how beneficial it can be for their child's schooling. And we're continuing that conversation right now with our lovely certified parent coach, Laura Markovitz. All right, Laura, welcome back.
Yeah, man, this is such an interesting topic. And I know, obviously, first and foremost, because everyone is going back to school today, or the majority of our learners, many for the first time. And regardless if you're starting a new year, that means new teachers. We're talking about that involvement, what is overbearing, being too involved, and the benefits of being involved. How much does your family's involvement, being involved in your schooling and your extracurricular, because that's almost as important, how much can that benefit your child?
Yeah, I mean, it's your child knowing that you are interested in them, that you have their back. So, and especially, when we were talking earlier about teachers, they like a context. They want to know if something's troubling your kids, if anything's going on at home that is different, if there have been big changes. Teachers like to know. And then at those extracurricular activities, you get a chance to touch base, to show face, to rhyme.
To stand on the side of the field and scream.
And also just to say, a lot of parents are working, and schools are kind of notorious for having events during working hours, so it's not always easy for parents to get to events. And I think that's something that as parents we've got to also manage with our kids. So we try and just say, okay, I'm going to commit to once a year or twice a year to be able to go to something when I can, but then also to talk to our children when we can't go. So not to just brush it under the carpet and pretend it's not happening when everybody else's parents are
Help
there.
them understand why.
Absolutely, but
have an open line of communication. I love that. Now you've mentioned that also. It's a very important point when it comes between the relationship between the parent and child. But where do we draw the line? Because it's very important to cultivate a relationship with your child's teacher, but how far should you go, Laura? Where does it become a little bit uncomfortable?
Yeah, so I mean, it's that.
You do get those moms and dads.
Absolutely,
yes.
And that's the helicopter factor of absolutely trying to micromanage your child's life and being over-involved, being there and actually taking away from your teacher's role. We've got to remember we've all got our roles. We've got a parental role, and then our teachers are teaching our kids. And ideally, when we're trying to strike that sort of balance, is to remember that they have their role and I've got my role to play, and to try and engage in a collaborative way. So it really is not about me coming and telling a teacher, I think you need to do X, Y, and Z. It's like, these are the things that have worked. Would you like to share what you're having problems with the kids? How can I back that up at home? How can we support each other to enhance our kids' education as best that we can?
I suppose ultimately, again, it's almost like just in the workplace, it's not about adding pressure or telling a person how to do their job, but rather showing them enough respect to be able to help them and give them all the information they need. I love that. And having your child's back, I absolutely love that. They must know that. Any parting words here? Any last advice, especially for our first-timers out there?
Yeah, so I think it is just making sure that if your child is having a difficult time, if you can see that they're a little bit miserable, if they haven't connected, tell the teacher, engage with the teacher, say, look, he's having a little bit of a difficult time. Can you keep an extra eye? Is there anything that you suggest that we can do? Because often teachers really appreciate having that extra information so that they can work with it.
Awesome. Laura, thank you very, very much. A very interesting topic. So go out there, but most importantly, like Graham said, have your kids back and also keep that line of communication open, not only between you and your child, but also you and the teacher.
Mom. Thanks, Mom. You always had my back.